a severe weather threat. We're talking about the possibility of tornadoes, hail, damaging wind. So we're going to be checking in with Chief Meteorologist Riley Hale for the latest in less than 1 minute. But first up, some breaking news this afternoon. That weather canceling school for some of our local districts tomorrow.
Starting with our largest counties, Richmond County schools are closing entirely tomorrow. Also, Aiken County schools will be closed as well. Columbia County schools, they tell us they don't expect for school to be canceled, but they are canceling any outdoor activities, and they tell us that anyone who would normally be in portable classrooms will be moved inside. Other schools in the CSRA that are canceled entirely include Jefferson County schools and Glasscock County schools.
Meanwhile, many of our local districts are moving to completely virtual learning tomorrow. Those include McDuffie County, Edgefield County, Burke County, McCormick County, Barnwell, District 45, Blackville, District 19.
Williston, District 29, Bamberg, Districts 1 and 2, Washington County, Warren County, Tolliver County, Allendale County, and Fox Creek High School in the charter system. They will all be virtual as well. As of now, Lincoln County schools are still staying open.
We are constantly updating this list for you as more information comes into us and the districts make their decisions. But you can head over to the website, wrdw.com, or check the app for the very latest.
All afternoon, we've seen county after county call off class, and for good reason. These are some very serious storms on the way. Let's get to Chief Meteorologist Riley.
Cool, right? If any place on earth knows how to celebrate this day, it is Ireland. Check out this drone show wishing the world a happy St. Patrick's Day.
The online film called Orchestra of Light features 500 drones flying over the Irish capital. They light up the sky with shamrocks and other messages like I love Ireland and Happy St. Patrick's Day.
Just amazing what they can do with drones.
It is, and this is something you could probably see from your own home. You don't really have to get outside and celebrate this. You can see it from miles away.
That is beautiful. Okay, to the sights and sounds of St. Patrick's Day, the cathedral in New York City. Mass was held there this morning, kept mostly virtual, and even though the city's parades and bands were canceled today, a few dozen people, including the mayor, marched in the Kips Bay area to keep that tradition alive. And it would not be St. Patrick's Day without checking in on our friends in Savannah, right? There's been live music there, performances all day long, right there on River Street on the river. As you can see, a lot of people turned out there grabbing some food and drinks and just checking out all there is to see. The city of Savannah has been celebrating St. Pat's Day since back in 1824. It's now ballooned into one of the South's biggest street parties, just after Mardi Gras, but I think the same crowd goes to both.
I think so, too.
They really do. Still to come, the next time you go to book a trip, you might have to bring your vaccine passport with you. A closer look at that idea and how it's already kicking into gear in Europe.
Plus, get ready for takeoff. We'll meet this all-female flight crew in South Carolina and hear how they're pushing women to follow their passions.
Joint Base Charleston celebrating Women's History Month with not one but two all-female flights today, taking off this morning.
The crews took off from North Charleston around 7 a.m. in two C-17 planes. They flew to Pope Army Airfield in North Carolina, where they picked up 40 more female paratroopers to conduct a jump. Now, here's a look at takeoff this morning. The Air Force Personnel Center says 20% of the Air Force is female, and it actually wasn't until 2010 that an all-female crew took flight out of Joint Base Charleston, which is kind of hard to believe.
Those things are massive. We see them in the air around Augusta all the time, but crew leaders say today's all-female flight is not nearly as uncommon as it used to be. It's more about showing they can make this thing happen. Staff Sergeant Rachel Rice says for her and everyone involved, she was just a privilege to get to step into those roles.
Really incredible to be able to celebrate like all the women that have gone before us, that have opened these doors for us, that we can just say, oh, we're going to put together a mission completely crewed by females in this what is typically a more male setting.
Pretty special. Those massive C-17s, both of them successfully completed that mission. They returned to base just a few hours ago, touching down right around 2:30.
I mean, they look big in the air, but they look huge on the ground.
They really are massive. You wonder how they stay up in the air. They seem to go so slow as they float into to Augusta on their training missions. But well done for the crew. We've told you about the concept of a vaccine passport, but now officials in Europe are putting that idea into motion.
They sure are. The system could let the European Union's 450 million people travel freely across the continent as soon as this summer. Matt Bradley is in London for us with a closer look.
We're hearing today from the European Commission they're going to be proposing plans for a European COVID vaccine passport.
But it's not only about vaccination, it's about the recovery for the people who have had the sickness, the vaccination or the tests.
But the idea would be that if you have this passport, it shows that you've been vaccinated twice, or in the case of some vaccines, once, and then you're free to travel around the continent as you were before the crisis.
This digital certificate, we aim to help member states reinstate the freedom of movement in a safe, responsible, and trusted manner.
This is already being used, or some form of this is being used in some countries like Iceland and Israel, and that makes it quite a bit easier to use something like this for not just travel, but for going to restaurants, nightclubs, for going to work, using public transportation. The real problem in Europe is that their vaccination effort is still very flawed. There's been more than a dozen countries who have just recently suspended the use of the AstraZeneca vaccine and the other vaccines. Their rollout has been incredibly slow across the continent. So no matter what we hear about ethical questions, about the plans for this passport, really, all of this depends on when Europe is going to get its act together and actually start to distribute the vaccine on the same level that they're doing in the UK and in the US. Matt Bradley.
Thursday is a weather alert day for the potential of tornadoes, large hail, and damaging straight-line winds. One last look at that forecast coming up.
Store on your phone, search WRDW weather.
A reminder, we do have school plans rolling across the bottom of your screen, and that does include both Richmond and Aiken counties canceling class altogether tomorrow. School leaders, though, not the only ones eyeing this weather. City crews are out there preparing for what could happen tomorrow as those storms are set to start rolling into the river region here in the next 18 hours.
So now, today, local crews are focusing on areas they believe could flood. They've seen that in the past, but Nick Proto is live for us in downtown Augusta, where they're worried about some flooding where he's standing. Nick, tell us what's going on.
Well, Augusta Traffic Engineering tells me the most flood-prone areas are going to be here downtown, the Laney Walker neighborhood, around the hospitals, and around AU's campus. And I spoke with officials all over the CSRA today, and they all tell me they're hoping for the best, but preparing for the worst.
Our focus has been to cover all the main bases.
Jason DeHart with Augusta Fire says the department has been focusing on getting ready for any possibility tomorrow.
Today has been all about prep. And that's the biggest thing that we're encouraging people to do is, prepare, for the worst and hope for the best.
He says everyone can prepare by doing things like knowing how to shelter in place and making sure you have a fully charged phone and at least a day's worth of food.
There's nothing wrong with over-preparing in this situation. So it's better to be safe than sorry.
Other emergency departments in Edgefield and Columbia County say their crews are ready to go. At this point, it comes down to waiting to see what the storms will do. Meanwhile, Augusta Traffic Engineering is taking precautions as well.
Well, we do start to stage some traffic control devices to help, close off streets, or if an area floods, to detour traffic around the areas that are most affected.
Ussery says when there's a tornado threat, they use their 110 cameras across town to focus on traffic lights getting knocked down or twisted up by the wind.
We do have an alert system in place with our intelligent transportation system, part of which you see behind me. It'll notify us if it loses communication with the traffic signal, and then we know to go out and take a look.
Now, if you live in a mobile home, DeHart emphasized stay out of your home tomorrow if possible. He says if you can go to a friend's house or wherever you work, you'll be much safer there because these high wind speeds we're expecting are going to be a big threat to those mobile homes. Guys?
This is serious, life-threatening stuff, so take it seriously. Nick, thank you. A 10-year-old girl missing in Augusta for 9 days now, and deputies now say Paris Ellis, that's the girl on the left, was taken without permission by her mom there on the right. Deputies say Rashima Ellis does not have legal custody of the 10-year-old. Paris was last seen March 8th. She was on Coleman Avenue right near Butler High School. So if you know where she could be, where her mom may be, definitely call the Richmond County Sheriff's Office.
Georgia Governor Brian Kemp made a stop here in Augusta today, getting an update on Augusta University's progress with the vaccinations. He says because of efforts across the state, we're now on the offensive against this virus. He also says he's proud of the effort from AU Health to get shots in arms all across the river region.
Lots of shout-outs and acknowledgement for our home team. Brady Trapnell shows us how AU Health has been setting an example for the whole state about how the rollout should be handled.
This is one of many trips Governor Kemp has made here to AU Health since the start of the pandemic. This time to listen and learn how to improve vaccination across the state.
And what you're doing is working.
And that's why Governor Kemp is here. Leaders from AU Health, DPH, and even Augusta National Golf Club working together with the state.
Partnership that you all have is getting it done. Up every day knowing that we can be on the offensive with this vaccine and put an end to this pandemic.
Governor Kemp says he chose not to put one of the state's mass vaccine clinics here because of the success of our healthcare community. He plans to encourage the rest of the state to use churches and community groups to combat vaccine hesitancy.
We can announce it in the church building one Sunday and do it the next.
The state says that more vaccine is coming in the next few weeks, especially for AU Health.
They're going to reward those who are being good stewards of the vaccine and not holding doses and getting those shots in arms very efficiently.
With fewer vaccine appointments at AU this week, Dr. Philip Kuhl says it goes back to inconsistent supply.
Yeah, we see these ebb and flow phenomenon in vaccine, and some of that has to do with getting second doses on time to people.
Last week, AU Health did nearly 10,000 vaccinations, and since December, about 44,000, using churches, Washington Square, and other locations to try and offer equal access. Now, they're just being asked to be an example for the state.
If they need to get those shots in arms, they need to be working on partnerships just like AU has done.
AU Health says they are prepared to do more if the state asks them to do more. And they said they're planning to get more vaccine supply over the next week, which means more clinics throughout the community. Reporting in Augusta, Brady Trapnell on your side.
So right now, AU Health is booked for all the available appointments on both sides of the river. So if you're looking for a place to get vaccinated, Georgia's DPH website is great, and we're going to link you to that and all of your options on our website, wrdw.com.
One of the places you can go is the new mass vaccine site that opened today in Washington County. We went to the drive-through clinic expecting lines at the Wrdw Life Church in Sandersville. Only really saw a handful of cars at a time coming through. It is a drive for some of you to get there, but Will Rio explains why it might be worth it.
That's right, Richard. They say despite the slow traffic, they're seeing that today was still a successful day as vaccine slots fill up at some of our local sites here in Augusta. There's still plenty of space out at the Washington County site, vaccination sites, so you might want to consider the long drive.
Today is our first day.
While signs line the streets to tell people where to get vaccinated,
Right about 150 today.
it's still been a struggle to fill slots here at the Washington County vaccination site.
Anytime it's a new site, it takes a while to get the word out.
Open for more than 3 hours, nurses gave out only around 75 doses, but it's not all bad news.
That is an opportunity for us to get all of the bugs out and get our traffic flow down and our workflows down.
This mass vaccination site has 500 open slots every day in Sandersville. Today, they say they are only expecting around 150 people to show up.
And we've had several coming, from out of the county. We've seen much more. A lot of people have pulled in and requested information.
David Shank with Homeland Security says some people have traveled almost 2 hours to get to the Word of Life Church. It's a site they're trying to bring to people who have little or no access to vaccines, as appointments are hard to come by.
What we're trying to do is help the citizens of Georgia. We want to definitely do whatever we can to lessen the impact of this pandemic.
Over Georgia's 9 mass vaccination sites, the state plans to give out more than 7,000 total first-dose vaccines per day and 38,000 total first-dose vaccinations per week.
That's the best gift for me personally to help share that, is to get people connected again.
And the most important thing I was told while I was on site is that the vaccine is free and people need to register before showing up to get their vaccine. If you don't have an appointment, you can't get the vaccine. You may register at myvaccinegeorgia.com.
So tonight we're remembering a longtime Columbia County Board of Education chairman who died yesterday. Family says condolences are pouring in for Regina Buccafusco. She served on the school board for 18 years, from 1998 to 2016. Her sons say she'll be remembered for her strength.
What I hope always lives is the bravery to stand up for the people that are being ignored. She pushed herself. She pushed us. She pushed everyone in the community to be just a little bit better than they thought they could be.
And what a mom they had. The family says they plan to hold a memorial for Regina Buccafusco in the summer months.
Gun laws in South Carolina could be changing. The Open Carry with Training Act passed the House. That bill would make it so anyone with a concealed weapons permit can carry a handgun out in the open. State House reporter Adam Mincer live for us in Columbia. So, Adam, what were the reactions to this bill?
After more than 6 hours of debate, I think the first reaction, it's fair to say, was just relief that everybody was able to go home for the night. But not everybody is going home 100% satisfied with the work they did today. Some Republicans say that this bill didn't go far enough, and they wish that it had done more to protect Second Amendment rights for South Carolinians. Democrats say this bill is dangerous.
This is the perfect storm.
Representative Gilliard says the Open Carry with Training Act ignores the racial and political tensions in our state right now.
You add fear. Fear brings anxiety. You can almost assure that you're going to have negative results.
Gilliard says a black person won't be able to open carry as freely as a white person because of racial profiling. Democrats agreed with the point, and one freshman representative said as a 6'7", 285-pound black man, having a gun on his side would make him a target.
But think about me and my family. I'm tired of going home to have to talk to my children about what they can or can't do as a black person. I need you all to understand where I'm coming from and hear the passion that I'm speaking with, because I'm scared for my children's lives.
Republicans say this bill won't put anyone in any additional danger.
You can walk down the road with an AR-15 on your back, and that's real in South Carolina. Yet we don't see thousands of people walking down the road with rifles on their back. We're not going to see thousands of people walking around with pistols on their hip.
And this bill simply allows someone who carries a handgun already to move their jacket and show their weapon.
There's a lot of people in our communities that are scared, and we don't fund and protect our law enforcement officers as much and as well as we should, so we should have the right to protect ourselves, and this is just one way to advance and protect ourselves.
The chief of the South Carolina Law Enforcement Division said this bill gives him a lot of concern, and he worries this bill would make police officers less safe. Many supporters of the bill say this bill doesn't go far enough, but being allowed to open carry a handgun with a permit is a start. And this bill, though, did pass 82 to 33, as we are saying, and it passed second reading, so there is a little bit more that needs to be done. The third reading, which is usually procedural, might happen as early as tomorrow morning, but that could be postponed because of severe weather. There are a couple of amendments to this legislation. One that would allow private business owners to make sure that nobody could bring an open carry into their business that they want. Another one would allow people to bring a concealed weapon into a church or a school unless that institution says otherwise. Reporting live from the South Carolina State House, Adam Mincer on your side.
Adam, thanks very much for that update. A new app created by a local mom helping parents keep their kids on track at school. We're going to show you how that works after a quick break.
And someone's in the St. Patrick's Day spirit. These little cuties are hoping for the luck of the Irish to help them find a new home.
And Thursday is
Breaking news on News 12 at 6 o'clock. A search for a murder suspect. This is Tommy Tennyson. He's wanted in connection to Brian Carswell's murder in Burke County. Now, Brian Carswell was the Waynesboro mayor's brother.
Carswell was found dead back in January, and police say Tennyson is armed and dangerous. We just wanted to pass that new information along to you right there.
Kids are learning using technology more now than ever, but unless you're constantly looking at their screen, it can be really tough to tell if they're learning or if they're playing.
Plus, they're great actors when they want to be, too.
Okay, they know way more than us.
And when it's time for schoolwork, there should be no distractions. Tradisha Woodard shows us how a local mom is helping parents with a brand new app.
Jennifer Flagg is a mother of 5.
Let me see which phone.
She says, along with many other parents whose children are learning from home, she wanted to find a way to manage each child's screen time, making sure they're excelling with their schoolwork.
They're the parents who are concerned about what their children are missing with the fractured education that's come with the pandemic. There are some excellent parental control apps, but none that do what I was looking for.
She says it's why she invented an app called Brain Break, giving parents more control of their child's education with a swipe of a button.
So I've got 2 phones. There's a parental one, and then there's the child version. I can see everything that they're doing on their phone, all the apps and everything, anywhere I am with my phone. We don't have to be in the same house.
She says the app allows parents to lock certain apps when their child is doing their schoolwork.
It's currently locked.
And it gives you the option to do random assessments.
Every 15 minutes of screen time, he'll have to take a brain break, and he'll do grade level appropriate quizzes.
She says it allows parents who can't physically be there to be more involved, filling the gaps of our new normal so children can grow and thrive.
He'll even come back and tell me, Mom, those questions were too easy. I'm like, okay.
Tradisha Woodard on your side.
Love that. Parents need all the help they can get. And how about a cute new addition to your life after a tough year? These guys all decked out for St. Patrick's Day. These dogs are from the Aiken County Animal Shelter, and they're really hoping you'll get in the spirit and give them a new home this St. Patrick's Day. The Animal Shelter are holding a St. Patrick's Day. You get it?
Get it.
Adoption event. It's from 11 to 7 tomorrow. They're so creative at the shelter. They'll stand on their head to get a dog adopted. But dogs will be $35, cats just $10. And if you wear green, you even get an extra gift.
And you can't put a price on that love.
I mean, come on,
Look
that
at those
face.
cute. Look at those cute
Look at
things.
that face.
All right, to sports now. Fox Creek baseball off to a really